King Von is dead and that ain't coming back. He ain't coming.
Charleston White is a confirmed King Von hater. One time he called him a monster in human form. He is a serial killer, and he was a monster in human form. Another time, he was on the internet praising Von's killer.
He is a serial killer, and he was a demon in human.
White has been a menace, and you won't believe the amount of disrespect that he has shown Von and his family. King Von deserved to die. Charleston White doesn't have a problem dissing the dead.
I shook hands with the hands, that killed King Von.
During the interview, ACT tried to press White on his stance about some people deserving death. According to the controversial internet figure, some people deserve to die for things to change. And in his opinion, all gang members must die for him.
A lot of people don't like the nature of how you've turned his death into almost a celebration.
No one defended Tuka like they defended King Von. King Von was known to be a killer.
According to ACT dissing, the dead is a no-go zone. Even if they were gangbangers, he thinks that their death means that they paid for their evil actions.
This is where someone say you take it too far. Like, you had a clip that went viral where you're like, death to all gang members.
Death to all gang members. Don't gangbangers kill? Don't gangbangers wake up every day looking to kill an op? So why shouldn't they die? Why should we wish death on the people that kill people?
So do you think the remedy is for them to die?
Yeah.
But Charleston White had a different view, and he dropped some truth bombs that had the comment sections agreeing with him. It turns out Von had beat a murder charge, and what's even more troubling, according to White, is that he was able to come home because the witnesses were killed.
I always say, like, even if you had a problem with someone, once they die, those problems pretty much, you gotta, just gotta give it up.
White was talking about Von's murder charge after the death of Macomb Stuckey in 2014. After his arrest, Von took to X, where he posted a chilling warning saying screws get nailed. After he beat the case, he would go on to brag in his music about how witnesses in his case were murked in the track, What's Next?
He had finally made it out of the ghetto. He had finally made it. He had just come home from beating murder cases, brother. Let's look at how serious this is. There are murder cases on his file that he beat. He gets released because the witnesses come up dead.
Von W.S. was the only one that told them they killed the other witness. Even Lil Durk, on the track Durkio Crazy, talks about witnesses being killed for Von to come home, saying they couldn't find a witness. Von Goon was home. Von was moving like a mafia boss, but according to White, he was much worse. And in this next event, White would compare Von to a demon king. Von was a demon.
To get that demon to be eliminated and removed, that's God's glory.
Charleston White has said some wild things about King Von over the years, but one thing that stands out is when he called V a monster.
He is a serial killer, and he was a demon in human.
According to White, not only did Von confess to being a demon, but his acts also showed that he was a demon.
King Von is one of the only few demons we done seen die who professed out of his mouth. The Bible says, what's in your heart, it go come out of your mouth. He said, I'm a demon, man. I'm on demon time. So he one of the only demons, and he was a powerful demon. So to watch King Von die before the world was an act of God.
White wasn't messing around when he called the late rapper a devil because, according to him, his music made killing people seem appealing.
Man, when you listen to the lyrics, he make killing somebody sound appealing and fascinating. One of Satan's greatest soldiers was King Von. That's why he can tell the story so well about the people he killed to captivate the minds and the hearts of so many young people.
The truth is, King Von's music detailed his life in the trenches, and it was pure violence as he detailed killings that really happened. For example, on the track Pressing Von, he talks about the murder of FBG Brick singing. I mean, a switch I can shoot a brick and they still say I hit. I mean, they hit. They caught that brick and hit him in his on July 17, 2017 FBG. Brick and his cousin and Kobe Mack were in the Woodlawn neighborhood when a car pulled up looking for FBG Duck, but left after they couldn't find him later at around 2:50 p.m. Shots rang out, and police were called to the 6300 block of South St. Lawrence, where they found a horrifying scene. Kobe Mack lay in front of a home with a gunshot wound to the head, while FBG Brick was found in the back gangway suffering from shooting wounds to the back and arm.
They instantly shot Kobe, and Brick tried to run and jump a gate, and was shot in the back.
Both men were reported dead at the scene. Another murder. He rapped about TKA's horrible murder in 2011 in the track For a Fact. Von WPS caught that boy right by that bus. This is his last stop. Tuka was among the first teens killed in the Chicago gang war in 2011 on January 12th at around 6:45 p.m. The 15-year-old found himself at a bus stop on the 500 block of East 63rd Street, joined by two friends, waiting for the westbound 63rd Street bus. As Tuka and his friends waited, a man approached them. He seemed innocent at first, asking if another bus was coming. Without notice, the man walked behind the bus shelter. In a matter of seconds, he pulled out a silver pistol. The man pointed the gun at Tuka and fired a single shot. The bullet hit the young boy, causing him to stagger. Tuka staggered towards a nearby trash can in a desperate attempt to escape, but the gunman was relentless. He followed Tuka and, with chilling accuracy, shot him 3 more times in the back. Tuka lay unmoving. His life ended in a matter of moments. The rescuers quickly assessed the situation, but it was too late. Tuka was declared dead at the scene, and while Von wasn't connected to these murders, he had no problem rapping about them. However, he also rapped about murders that he carried out, and this is what made Charleston White hate Von. Why Charleston White hates King Von. While many people think that Charleston White hates Vow for views and clout, there's a much deeper reason.
Charleston White hate King Von so much?
There's one reason why Charleston hates Von, and he revealed it in an interview. According to him, his hatred of Von was because he killed black people and bragged about it in his music.
Man, he killed black people and bragged about it. He bragged about killing black people. Some of his most prolific, most entertaining songs is talking about how he killed black people and get away with it.
This is truly true. And one of his most famous murders was the murder of 17-year-old female assassin Kakira Barnes, alias Kai. Years after her murder, Von dissed her in the track War With Us, where he was put in a pretty op in a morgue call that was drop-dead beautiful. On April 11th, a hooded shooter shot Barnes in front of a home in the 6400 block of South Urt. Kai was hit 9 times in the mouth, neck, and chest before running and falling on a neighbor's doorstep and passing out. She later died to her injuries at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. She walked with her brother, FBG Butter, and a friend that day, who suffered gunshot wounds but survived. Von was arrested in connection with the killing after eyewitnesses identified him. However, the police could not meet the burden of proof in court, so the charges were rejected because of the lack of solid evidence to convict Von. King Von also hired his gang members to kill one of his ops. This was none other than FBG. Duck was shot and killed on the 4th of August 2020. 1 month later, King Von released the track GTA, dissing FBG Duck in the track Von RS. He made a diss, and now he's a ghost, and it happened fast. We need to toast. It turns out Duck put out Dead 1 month before he was killed, where he dissed Von's dead homies in the track Duck RS Made Chicago Heroes. That was just about business. I said I wasn't going to diss the dead, and okay, I did it. But T-Roy and OD are dead. As it turns out, King Von put out a $100,000 reward for Duck to be killed and even bought custom-made oblock chains after the hit was complete. One of King Von's ops, who he shot but survived by a hair, was FBG. Why in the track Back Again, Von WS shot up everybody that's outside. Bet Y feels this one. I bet Y still twitches. And he changed something different in Grandson for President Von WPS. WKE got shot, and now he's taking medicine. Von was speaking on the 2018 shooting during a funeral where Wookie was shot in the head, and according to many people, Wookie has never been the same since the event in 2018. One of W's friends, rapper Van Trey Chris alias Ducey Tommen, was shot and killed by an OP. After his death, Von FaceTimed Y to brag and tell him he was in for a treat.
We go surprise. You talking about tonight. We go surprise, bro.
A Block members knew that Dusk's funeral would be jam-packed with ops, making it a perfect chance to strike, which they did. On the afternoon of the 17th of October, all hell broke out at Dusk's funeral. During the funeral, a car pulled up and men jumped out and started fire on the Murs. Some of the gang members mourning their fallen soldier, including Wookie, also pulled out their guns and shot back. Unfortunately, Wookie was shot in the head and fell to the ground as the shooters got back in their getaway car and sped off. Wookie was shot along with 6 others. Luckily, everyone lived, including Y, who was shot in the head. Charleston White's hatred for Va is so intense that he chose to do the unthinkable. He linked up with Von's killer, Lil Tim. Charleston White praises King Von's killer. Charleston White is considered the ultimate troll, and his trolling antics and his disrespect have gone beyond interviews. And recently he decided to go to a whole new level. He decided to meet King Von's killer, and he was over the moon.
I shook hands with the hands that killed King Von.
According to White, that was one of the greatest days of his life, and compared it to meeting Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. or even Malcolm X.
That's like touching Dr. King. That's like shaking hands with Malcolm. That's like when I got to shake hands and hug Dr. Miles Monroe.
White took to social media to post pictures next to King Von's killer, Lil Tim, and he couldn't stop smiling. It turns out that Lil Tim was making a documentary about his life, and his mom wanted Charleston White to be a part of it since he has been supporting and praising her son in public. He also added a caption dissing Von and thanking Lil Tim for killing the Chicago rapper. I actually met this great young king and shook the famous hand that pulled the trigger to slump and hump. King Vow, my life has been blessed with wealth ever since that day I connected with the spirit of God's angel, aka the Demon Slayer. I love and honor this young man right here. He's a hero to the country. We're smoking on that Von pack tonight. Thank God for Lil Tim. The post reads, Charleston White was speaking to the brawl that left King Vow dead from a gunshot wound. CCTV footage showed Von approaching fellow rapper Quando Rondo and punching him to the ground. Von's guys joined in and started raining blows on Quando as he tried in vain to get away from his attacks. In a split second, one of Q's homeboys, who was later identified as Lil Tim, appeared from behind their vehicle with a gun in hand and starting letting off shots as everyone ran away. Von was hit in his chest. He would later die from his gunshot wounds while in the hospital. He even went a step further and compared the Lil Tim and Von incident to the famous David and Goliath story. White was talking about the time Von's best friend Lil Durk called Lil Tim a nerd in an interview with DJ Academics.
That's everybody else, like when a real gangster, you know what I mean? When a real gangster get took out by like a nerd type.
It's no surprise that Charleston White has also gone in on Lil Durk on social media and in interviews. Charleston White is King Von's best friend.
If Lil Durk looking for me, I ain't hard.
Lil Durk and Von were considered brothers. In fact, Durk was responsible for Von's breakthrough into the music business. However, he has also had to suffer his fair bit of drama with Charleston White when White took to social media to diss Von and taunt Lil Durk by posting photos posing next to Lil Tim. The post played Durk's joint with J. Cole, All My Life. When a commenter tagged Lil Durk, Charleston White answered, "That dope fiend is in rehab," referencing Duro's recent rehab admission. This isn't the first time Charleston White has gone after Lil Durk. One of the first attacks against the Chicago rapper involved, accusing him of snitching on Von back when Gunna made a deal with cops to get out of jail after he was involved with the young thug Rico. Many people called him a rat. It was serious that Lil Baby, his best friend, and Lil Durk unfollowed Gunner on social media. However, Charleston White was quick to point out Durk's hypocrisy, since, according to White, Durk snitched on King Von. Charleston was addressing the shooting in Atlanta that had seen Von and Durk arrested and charged for
Dirk and Lil Baby, they unfollowed Gunna.
Lil Durk told on King Von. That's how he beat his.
On February 5th, 2019, Alexander Weatherspoon sustained a gunshot wound but lived. A few months later, Durk and Von were caught. In late October 2022, all charges against Durk were dropped. At the time his charges were released, Von had already died, which led many to think that Durk may have told on Von. Many people were confused by the sudden turn of events because of the stack of evidence against the Chicago artist. According to the female witness, a fight broke out in a car that was in front of them. The witness then said that she saw Durk pull out a firearm, and she was forced to run for her life. As she ran around the building, she heard shots fired. She later saw the body in a pool of blood. This means that she didn't see who fired the shots. Detectives also stated that they had obtained surveillance footage showing Durk's hand sticking out of the SUV and firing his weapon at Weatherspoon.
You see Mr. Banks' arm out the window firing several shots at the
Shocking court papers may reveal whether Durk ratted out his friend in a statement made by the Georgia DA Amma Fani Willis. She revealed that if co-defendant Devin Bennett, aka King Von, had not died in 2020, he would have been indicted for this incident. This statement sent the industry crazy, so according to the DA, if Von was living, even if all the evidence to this point revolved around Durk, he would still have been charged, and Durk would have gone scot-free. The idea was that Durk had told on Von and passed all the blame on him since Von could not defend himself. Durk was allowed to walk. However, there was a general feeling that Von was set up long before he died. One of the incidents that proved this was when one of Lil Durk's lawyers, Nicole Mormon, while posing as airport security, was rumored to have searched Von at an airport, an incident that Von caught on video. It turns out that Nicole worked with the state for nearly 5 years as a criminal probation officer and specialized task force agent, meaning she could go undercover. The plan seemed to be to get Vo in major trouble and portray him as the dangerous one between him and Durk. That way, Durk would walk and Von would end up in prison. Durk isn't the only one to get dissed by White because Charleston has also gone after Von's family. Charleston White disses King Von's sister. Charleston White has not only gone after Von, his best friend, and praised his killer, he has also humiliated his family, and one person who has been on the receiving end of White's anger is Von's sister, KBB. She doesn't want to hit no one that'll bite her jaw and scratch her face up like a girl. Well, KBB chose to go after Charleston White. After years of dissing his dead brother, she took to X, where she revealed that she had just run into White and decided not to attack him because cops were around. Why? I just saw that Charleston White, whatever his name is, I would have beat his butt. But the cops were right there. Charleston White answered back with his own X post, where he addressed the situation and added a hilarious caption saying,
She don't want to hit no nigga that'll bite her jaw and scratch her face up like a girl.
But the cops were right there. Charleston White answered back with his own X post, where he addressed the situation and added a hilarious caption saying, Dear King Von's sister, I want to kindly remind you that your tough dead brother was slumped at a club in Atlanta, Georgia for trying to fight a little skinny. I'm sure you don't want to join the hump in the ground gang for thinking you're tough too. I also want to tell you that I embrace your brother's killer with love, admiration, and appreciation for killing your brother. No love, un. He also took to his Instagram, where he continued to diss KBB, saying, Tell King Von's sister that I have gay hands. We would have been enjoying Pride months together. And in an interview, White revealed that if Kayla had put her hands on her, he would have reiterated in kind fashion.
She don't want to hit no nigga that'll bite her jaw and scratch her face up like a girl. I'll scratch her face up like a girl, my and I'll bite her jaw where she'll permanently have a bite.
It turns out KBB wasn't playing, and she would have jumped White according to FBG Butter. Kayla was a savage and would fight guys in the hood. According to him, Charleston better watch out because Von's sister could beat him up and maybe even kill him.
The can fight, so he better be careful. Cause Kayla will beat his then he old too, shorty she fuck around and hit him the wrong way and kill him.
And KBB isn't afraid to approach anyone because one time she confronted a man in the streets who was rocking merch belonging to one of Von Opp's NBA young boys. KBB called out the man who was wearing a Supreme t-shirt showing NBA a young boy on it in a video and labeled it, Who knows this man who walks around with another grown man on their shirt? In the video, she called him an obster and a weirdo.
Obster, he put the obster, but look at him. Obster, he look like an obster. Obster, weirdo. Where's Shirley? Shirley is weirdos around. Who walks around with another man on his shirt? He's a weirdo.
But Von's sister isn't the only family member that Charleston has gone after, because he chose to go after Von's mom after meeting with Lil Tim White. He took to his Instagram, where he pinned down a message to King Von's mom dissing her dead son. Dear King Von's mother, I actually met this great young king and shook the famous hand that pulled the trigger to slump and hump. King Von, my life has been blessed with wealth ever since that day I connected with the spirit of God's angel, aka the Demon Slayer. I love and honor this young man right here. He's a hero to the country. We're smoking on that Von pack tonight. Thank God for Lil Tim. According to White King Von, Mom never came out to criticize her son's actions even after his death, which meant she agreed with his evil actions.
Now let's look at King Von, mama. She been silent.
I don't think I've ever seen.
She been silent. My mother said, son, silence is a form of agreement.
Charleston White continues to disrespect King Von years after he was shot and killed, and as long as people continue praising the Chicago rapper and coming to his defense, White will be on hand to put Von and his fans in their place, and will be there to give you the tea. But as we wait for his next King Von rant, just remember to click on the boxes playing on your screen to watch similar content.